Hello, Ranger Nation. This is Josh Mason-Eimer sitting alongside Todd Jones for the next episode of Ranger Rundown at Rooster's Backyard.
Josh, I'll tell you what, tomorrow is the first day of the best month of the year.
Okay, it cools off a little bit. It's October,
so
start of fall.
here's the reasons why. You finally get a little bit of fall weather because September is just an extension of August as far as heat. Football season is in the swing of everything, and yet you still have your hopes and dreams for your favorite team, unless you're the Cowboys.
District's about to start.
District's about to start up. You've got a month long of scary shows on Sci-Fi and TNT and all that throughout the week. They're watered down so you can watch them with the kids. You got Halloween candy, costumes, all that stuff coming up at the end. And my birthday is in this month. So arguably the best month of the year, easily.
So skipping the birthday, the watered down Jack the Ripper movie, is that what we're?
Well, you know, like a Halloween.
Like watered down Saw?
Yeah, Friday the 13th. No, not Saw. Saw is one of those things you just can't water
said
down.
Kid friendly. So.
But I mean, it's a good time of the year, best time of the year.
Okay. Well, tell them about the show.
All right, so today we've got Coach Long and Brinkley Smith are going to come in and talk volleyball. We're going to talk with Eric Bustamante and Reese Watzel, football players on the team, about how the game went Friday night. And then we're going to wrap things up with head coach Brian Hill. So the Rangers are rolling, and it's Ranger Rundown time.
And starting off the show, we've got starting off the Ranger Rundown with some volleyball. We have Coach Long and senior outside hitter Brinkley Smith. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks
Coach
for having
Long,
us.
let's start with you. Give us your thoughts on the big win in the first district game against Andrews.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, we don't have anything.
We may just have to pull one of the ears off so you can hear us.
Okay.
Something happened. Sorry about that. So, just appreciate you guys coming on. We'll do the best we can.
All right, so I'll start back over. Coach Long, give us your thoughts on the big win on your first district game on Saturday.
We played against Andrews for our first district game. We won in 4. We did really well. We got a chance to run a new offense one time in the third set. We saw some good things from that, some good options. I think it kind of threw them for a loop. We were out of rotation one time, but the officials didn't pick up on it because I think we threw them for a loop too. But we did some good stuff that whole time. The girls really followed through and pushed to a good win and a good finish for our first district opener.
Okay, how do you feel about after losing the third set to Andrews? How do you feel your team responded?
I think they did really well. They don't ever seem to get down on themselves. They're always going to the next point. They never know. They don't quit until the very last whistle. So that's really good. We don't have to remind them and keep them coaching up. They just keep chugging along.
Okay.
How do you feel the team has progressed since the start of the season?
Really well. At first, I think we were super slow. We had a lot of new people because we graduated a lot, and they've had to really just get with the speed of the game. And so we've been really working the last month or so just really on speeding up our offense, using low-tempo passes and quick sets and trying to split the blockers so that we have more of a chance to get a first ball kill.
Coach, looking at the different teams in the district, how do you think we stacked up against our competition?
We're stacked up really nice. I think we're one of the for sure one of the top 2 teams. Monahans is going to be tough, but I think we're better. But, maybe I'm partial. I don't know. But I think we're right there with them for sure, if not better.
What is something that you feel your squad needs to improve on to finish the season as district champions?
Maybe finishing better. We had a hard time with that on Saturday. We would be at game point and we let them come back and score 3 or 4. So we've been kind of working on that, putting points in a row. We did that today in practice. Just finishing and not going into the next set thinking that we already have it. We just got to fight for every point.
And what's something that maybe compared to this team, the team this year, that sets them apart from teams in the past?
They're all really versatile. I know we've said that a bunch of times on the rundown, but I can move them around. I can switch a completely different defense, and they just roll with it. And so that's really fun, and it's really, really nice for me because they just do it, and they do it well, and you put them all different spots, and they're good at it. And they don't freak out. They're like, okay, let's try it. So it's good.
Well, Brinkley, that's going to be a great segue into the question that I had for you. On the broadcast Saturday, I said, you're the Rangerettes' Swiss Army knife. You're out there playing back row, you're playing front row, you're second on the team in kills. I know you're someone the setters can look to get a point when they need it. So I get my first question to you is how do you feel your versatility helps the team?
Well, I feel like it's just a leadership role. I think that I'm able to. I thank you for calling me that, but I think it's just. The girls trust me, and I trust them, and then wherever coach puts me, I'm up to play. I've been in the past, I've been a setter before, hitter, back row. So I think the work in the past has allowed me to get where I am right now and be able to play those different positions.
All right.
With the success that you're having this year, now hitting from the front row, what do you attribute that success to?
I think, again, just dedication and hard work, and every practice I just set a goal for myself, and we actually did that today in practice. We set 2 goals for ourselves to work on all week in practice, and then we had a partner that we shared it to, and then they can hold us accountable. So I think it's just putting my mind to what I really want to try to achieve, and then just working towards that. And I also don't want to give that all to me. I have a great team. I want to shout out to Brooke Clifton and Emily Jones. You need a great pass and a great set for me to be able to get a good kill, so give that to them too.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that and understand it. Speaking of getting some help, your older sister, is a former Rangerette volleyball player. What advice has she given you over the years that you have found helpful? Because I know she's given some advice that might not have been helpful.
Don't mess up.
Being an older sibling, but what are some things that maybe she's passed down to you that was helpful for you?
Her main thing is just be a leader on and off the court, but also play every game like it's your last, because one day it will be.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, especially my senior year. I'm like, okay, I'm one of the leaders now, so I need to step up and use my voice and just encourage and just lead them on, and just also my performance and my athletic abilities doesn't define who I am. So if I have a bad game, it doesn't define who I am off the court, but also if I have a great game, stay humble.
Okay.
We should write that down.
We should write that down.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Brinkley, give us your thoughts on the win against Andrews this weekend, and how big of a win was that for the squad?
It was a great win. I think it just sets the tone for the rest of the district. A win, it was a good win, and I think it just showed too, we had a great pre-district season, so I think it just shows the hard work that we put in for that, because this is really where it starts to matter, right here, and then going into playoffs. It's a good win.
Yeah, and I'm going to touch on that just a second, where you mentioned your pre-district competition. I thought it was really good. You guys had opportunities to play some teams that you should dominate, and you learned how to win and how to be successful. And then you play teams that were, tough draws, and you learned how to lose a little bit, which no one really likes, but you learned how to continue to fight no matter what the score was. And I think that the way that Lou Allen tournament ended up for us, I think was perfect. Not in the gold bracket, but playing that silver and coming up with a win against some good teams. I thought I don't think Coach Long could have drawn it up any better for you guys to have the right amount of success, the right amount of challenges getting you to this point. So, Brinkley, who do you look to as a role model and why?
I would say 2. I would say my sister, Kirkland, and then I would also say Kaylee.
Okay.
They're both super, watching them both play volleyball, they're super passionate. Everything they do with 110%. And just off the court, too, they're such a great leader and a great friend. So I definitely look to both of them in almost everything I do. So
All right, good answer. All right, you ready for some rapid fire questions, Brink?
sure.
All right, here we go. Your favorite ice cream?
Vanilla with sprinkles.
Vanilla with sprinkles. Favorite food?
Ice cream.
Mac and cheese.
See, if you'd have said
I
ice
don't
cream,
know.
that'd have been good.
Yeah.
Favorite Alani flavor?
The cherry twist.
All right. Favorite sport outside of volleyball?
Like just in general?
Yeah.
Football.
All right. And if you were to star in an upcoming movie, would you pick to star in the Barbie 2 movie or the next Marvel movie?
Barbie.
Barbie 2. All right. Coach, I never.
I just
I'm always wrong when I figure out what they're going to say.
unless
so.
it's like Spider-Man. That's the only.
Oh,
is that
so
even
Spider-
Marvel?
Yeah, that's Marvel.
Yeah.
So
that's the only one I've watched.
Spider-Man
so,
works.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Coach Long, Brinkley, thanks for coming in, spending some time with us, letting people kind of get to hear about the program and seeing you guys. They do have a game on Tuesday. They're going to take on Seminole. We're going to be on the road. If you guys can't make that game, you can catch it on the GSN on YouTube.
Stick with us. We've got Eric Bustamante and Reese Watzel up next. And welcome back for the next segment. We've got a couple of football players joining us. We've got junior Eric Bustamante and sophomore Reese Watson. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Talk a little bit of football. We're going to start with you, Eric. No pressure. What are your thoughts on offensive line, and how do you feel they performed so far this year?
This year, I feel like we've really bought in. We've been doing our assignments pretty well. We know what needs to be done. For myself, I feel like I've done pretty well, but my mindset coming into this season is I can't be complacent, and there's always room for improvement.
All right.
I like it.
So for you, the first year on varsity, right?
Yes, sir.
What was it like putting on that uniform and playing your first game on Friday night for the Rangers?
It was a very surreal moment. Playing for a great community like Greenwood really puts pressure on you. It really motivated me to put all of my effort in every down and every play I'm in.
Yeah. Friday night's special, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It is special.
Eric, maybe tell us a little bit of something that you do to get prepared each week for the next opponent.
Coach Cox and Coach Hernandez really give us a great game plan. They get the scout team to give us looks and help us visualize what to expect come Friday night.
Okay. What do you feel is the hardest part of your job on the O-line?
I would say being on the smaller side, it's never really an easy task to move arguably the biggest people on the field. Other than that, I just say is limiting distractions and make sure I'm focused on the game.
Okay.
I was going to make a small joke with Todd, but I think I'm going to skip that one. Eric, what's a favorite play to run? Do they have like a screen designed for the right tackle, maybe? You kind of line up in the slot on short downs.
I wish, but I'd have to say counter. I really love pulling and running full speed at someone.
And hopefully they're not looking at you. You're
Yes,
holding.
sir.
I like it.
We saw that big numbers of yours pulling around a couple of times
Yes,
last
sir.
week, looking for someone to take out, and they looked like they were running away from you. So
Yeah, that's the
Happens
best.
all the time.
The guard blocks the end out, and who knows who's going to be there when you go around the corner.
do you like turning the corner and seeing like an 18 or a 12 standing there in front of you?
Yes, sir.
All right, Eric. Last question: who's someone that you want to give a shout out to and why?
I'd have to say Nathaniel Romero. Just the way he trusts the O-line to do our assignments and make our blocks is really appreciated. him making the big plays, whether it's receiving or rushing, just gives us the confidence that we need, and just having the backfield is always a plus.
Okay.
All right, new question for you just before we move on. If Ramiro runs into the back of you, does it just, like, infuriate you? I mean, I know it hurts. I was there, right? But
It could go both ways. Maybe I was just in his way. All right.
Yeah.
That's really it.
it's a hey, you better block better next time, or I'm gonna hit you in the small of the back again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Reese. Up next. What's it like for you suiting up for the first Friday night's game?
Well, it was, we were nervous, but we knew we were prepared. Like, our coaches had prepared us all week for Childress and to execute and dominate and show what we needed to do for this year. And I think that was a huge part of our week, was just we need to get ready for Childress. And that's a big part of every week, just keep going and keep going and keep going and focusing on each team and really keying on their aspects.
All right. So you had your first touchdown run,
Yes, sir.
right? And it was a pretty long one. Why don't you tell us, what was going through your mind while you're, making your moves, and then what was in your mind after you scored the touchdown?
Well, we go out there and we're in our huddle or our clock prevent and all that and stuff. And so we get out there and we're scoring. That's what we're doing, and we're all dead set on that. And I've looked back on the play, and everybody's doing their job. Everybody is scoring. That's what we're focused on there. And after the play, I was excited and stuff, but I was more excited to see that all of my friends were more excited than I was, and that made me feel really good as a person and just really good to be a Greenwood Ranger.
That's a special thing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Reese, you back up a lot of positions this year. What's your favorite and why?
I'd say probably quarterback, just because I can see the tight end and I can see what the running back's doing. And if I know what the running back's doing while I'm at quarterback, I know what it's doing when I'm at running back, and I know what it's doing when I'm at tight end. And if I know all those three, and then I'm
Kind of a
already
holistic
getting it. Yes,
approach.
sir.
And okay, I like that.
I'm always getting mental reps at quarterback with all of my positions. So
Okay. First year on varsity, what do you think is the biggest difference in playing off the varsity level compared to being on JV where you started last year?
So, pretty much everybody from the JV that got moved up to varsity, and so team-wise it's not totally different because, other than the seniors and some of the juniors, and that's pretty much everybody that I've known, I've already known for a year, and so going back and coming back to varsity, going to varsity, but just the execution. Execution is key, right? And
Right.
if you can't execute, there's always somebody behind you, and that guy is going to get the spot if you don't execute. And I think having the bar set higher was a big part of it. And you can't have a bad practice or you're not going to play Friday. You can't be sitting in the back or you're not going to play Friday, because there is always a guy that wants it more than you if you do that.
Right.
Sure.
And that was probably the biggest part.
Okay. All right.
What did you ever have the thought go through your mind? And this isn't on our sheet, so I'm going to make this question up as we go here. But did it ever cross your mind to go ahead and call an audible and throw the ball? I mean, we were rooting for you. We wanted you, to go for the long pass, but
Well, I didn't really think about that.
okay. Well, think about it next week, because hopefully we're going to be in the same position.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
looking for
I don't know
Hill,
if I'd
but
make.
he's avoiding eye contact with me. So, what do you do to mentally get ready on game days?
Well, we show up, eat breakfast at around 9:30, and we lift a little bit, not heavy or anything. And then after that, Coach Lyles is coming in, talking to us, and that's a huge piece of our Fridays. Like, we're ready to go at 10:30 to go hit somebody in the mouth. So I think that's a huge part of it. And then another big part of it would be, everybody staying in the locker room mostly to go watch a movie or just hang out and being focused on the game, And another big part would be, a couple hours before you stretch and warm up and do all that and make sure that everybody's out there. And when everybody's out there, we're set. We're ready to go. And as long as we're ready to go throughout the whole day, I think it's going to be a good night.
Okay. Who's someone that you want to give a shout out to and why?
Someone I want to give a shout out to would be Peyton Rahman. He's a huge piece of our offense, and he helps me every day with even my defensive work and stuff. So he would be a big help. Or
Okay.
He is a big help.
All right, you guys ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, your favorite class?
Miss Gibbs.
All right.
Miss Ventura.
All right. Favorite
Well,
meal?
hang on. We said favorite class, not favorite teacher. We're not getting bonus points
Well,
here.
Ventura's math,
Algebra.
right? Algebra.
Yes,
English
Algebra
1301.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Favorite meal?
Enchiladas.
Oh, that's a good one.
Probably just steak and asparagus. Probably.
Asparagus.
Asparagus. That's a first.
Good.
That is a first. What celebrity would you like to meet?
I'd say
Make-
Drake.
Drake?
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
I don't know.
Reese is thinking of
Probably.
somebody pretty.
Somebody pretty? Maybe. What's his? He's on Billy Madison.
I feel like that's
What's
not
his
going to be
Adam
pretty.
Adam Sandler. that's
Adam
what it is.
Sandler.
Adam
All right.
Sandler.
All right. You guys finish this sentence. I'm afraid of
My mom.
your what?
My mom.
Your mom? That's a good answer.
Mama.
Mom.
My dad.
Your dad? That's funny. So my best friend in high school was a big kid, and his mom was like 5'1", and we were all afraid of his mom. He did not mess with his mom at all. Smallest lady in the world, but man, scary.
Well, on that note, we're going to end this segment. Eric and Reese, appreciate you guys coming
Yes,
in,
sir. Thank you,
and
Andy.
excited to see what we've got for Liberty on Friday night.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, sir.
Good luck, guys.
up
Yes, sir.
next,
Thank
we've
y'all.
got head coach Brian Hill coming to sit down with us. And welcome back to the Ranger Rundown live at Rooster's backyard. Now we've got Coach Hill. How are you this evening?
Great.
Awesome.
Coach, good to see you.
It's always good to be here after a win, too.
I tell you
Oh
what.
yeah.
How many in
yeah,
a row
we
is
got
that?
we got great stuff to talk about, right?
3 in a row,
3 in a row. The
4
Ran-
total. We'll
the
take it.
Rangers are rolling, baby.
There we go.
Rangers
There we
are
go.
rolling.
Yep. Pecos came to visit on homecoming. We're able to impose our will upon them. That's the first big takeaway. The second big takeaway is I'm not going to say the third quarter curse, but we came out swinging third quarter, right? It's one of the things that we talked about last week that we wanted to do, and try to come out guns a-blazing, and we were able to do that as well. So
Yeah, a bit.
kind of avoided the third quarter lull. Let's say lull. How
Well,
about that?
yeah, absolutely. And a lot of credit to our offensive staff, and then ultimately the players came out and did a fantastic job in the third quarter. I think we scored 21 points in that period, so it was very good to see kind of what we had practiced and preached all week come to fruition a little bit. It was good deal for us.
It was a great night. A lot of people out there.
Oh my gosh, it was packed. It was a fantastic atmosphere. It
Yeah.
was pretty special.
It was great. It was awesome. I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
Even the 5 free minutes I got in the press box before halftime.
I started making tally marks on who scored in what quarter, so I could refer back to that at the end of the night. And I realized I missed too much going down for halftime, and I lost track of the whole thing.
But don't worry,
so-
I had the recap. I took over.
Yeah.
I stepped
Terrible.
up.
Speaking of
you
recap, Coach, let's go over some highlights from Pecos.
All right, good deal. I got a sneak peek of the top 10. Coach Thomas's crew does a fantastic job every week, but there were a lot to choose from this week. I was really, really pleased with our effort, both offense and defense and special teams. But this is just, I want to give a shout out to Caden Evans. He's done a fantastic job this year. I think he ended the night with 4 catches. He did a really, really good job for us, and it's nice to see him see some success. He does a great job in practice for us week in and week out. And, Landon Butts and the defense, I think this is Lane Wasson in on this one too. They kind of picked up, especially Butts, where he picked up where he left off last week against Shallow Water, and did a really good job, especially early in the first quarter. We were able to jump out to a pretty big lead, and just a lot of credit to the defense. It's fun to see those guys flying around. And Nathaniel Romero, he's been named the player of the week by a couple of different media outlets. He ended the night with, I think, 13 carries for 160 plus yards and a couple of catches and 4 touchdowns total. He ran behind his pads, behind some great blocking. Eric Bustamante was part of that crew and did a really, really good job. And then that was just the job that Reese Watzel did for us, especially in the second half. I was really, really excited for him to get that first varsity touchdown. It's been a long time coming, and he does a great job for us. I know we'll talk about him a little bit later, but just a great runner, great leader for us, and excited about what he brings to our offense. And then, we always talk about Dylan, and we talk about Cade Rowalt. I know they're going to both get some plays in here, but try to be creative and find ways to get those guys the ball on the little jet sweep there. And we had a botched exchange, but Dylan made the most of it and was able to get some positive yards. But, again, it's I think our defense is going to take us as far as we're going to go this year. And so when you get plays like this and there's 4, 5, 6 guys around the football, it energizes our sideline, obviously gets our coaching staff going, and it's a great thing when we are playing well on that side of the ball. And then I don't know if this is a school record or not. We don't keep these records, but an 88-yard touchdown pass is definitely going to find its way in the top 10. And so Coach Hernandez called the freeze play. Lincoln was able to get him to jump and then found Cade for a really timely touchdown. We kind of stalled out a little bit at that point in the game. We needed that energy, and here's one of Romero's 4 touchdowns on the night. Just a really, really strong runner. He's kind of gotten an extra step, an extra gear. I think we're going to see one here in a second where he breaks away. He's doing a great job for us, really coming on strong this middle part of the season. And, being a defensive guy and getting to work with Josiah quite a bit this year, was really, really happy to see this interception. Then whenever you're able to score defensively, it's your chances of winning go up tenfold. Literally, it's huge for us anytime you can score on defense. And this is kind of the play we referenced. Nathaniel was able to find a 5th, 6th, and 7th gear on this one, buying some great blocking, made a good hole for him. And those explosive plays, it really kind of breaks the back of a defense. And so
definitely.
really, really excited for our offensive line, and Nathaniel had a big night.
Coach, we had a lot of things going on this week, starting with the homecoming game day, then the dance Saturday night. What stood out to you about the support from the community this week?
Well, starting the Sunday before at the tailgate, it was just incredible. And especially that being the first year.
Despite the weather.
And the weather was a little questionable early on, but I had several coaches, this was their first year in Greenwood, that were just blown away by the turnout on Sunday. And then the pep rally Friday morning, with the K through 12 there's well over 3,000 people in the stands. It was absolutely electric there. And then, kind of wondered if we would have that same turnout for the game, and I think the game was even better. It was not an empty seat, standing room only, and it really means a lot to our kids. But, as coaches, it means a lot to our staff, too, to be able to turn around and see that kind of support. It was just fantastic, and the Greenwood community is special. To make that whole week as exciting as it was, it's a great place to go to school, great place to work, and great place to raise a family.
Yeah, going down right before halftime, the stands were still packed, and then trying to make my way around the concession stand, there were people everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've seen that many people in a few years.
Yeah, my wife had asked me to come sit with her during the homecoming thing, and I was texting her, said, "Where are you?" She said, "Don't even try. It's a zoo. Just stay where you are."
If you stayed in the stands, there was same amount of people underneath the stands and milling around, standing at the fence.
Those are good problems to have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, and obviously,
very appreciative of our fans and parents and people that came back for the homecoming festivities. It was great to have that environment.
Yeah, it was great to be a part of it. So that was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed seeing everybody come out for all the events and stuff. So it was great. A little football. Let's get back to the game.
Let's do it.
All right. So started off big in the first quarter. I mean, 3 touchdowns in the first 6 minutes. but then we had a drop off in the second quarter. Tell us what was going on, kind of from your perspective as the head coach on the team when we kind of had that second quarter lull.
Well, we were really excited about the way we started both offense and defense. Josiah Galindo scored defensively, and so I do think that we had a letdown. Just the kind of the energy, the game settled down a little bit, and we did have a little bit of a letdown. But that's kind of what we spent halftime talking about. Was it's you've got to have the mentality that it's a faceless opponent. It doesn't matter if it's Pecos, Liberty this week, or the Texas Tech Red Raiders on the other sideline. We have to go execute, and doesn't matter if we're up 21, down 21, tie ball game. We've just got to take care of the Greenwood Rangers, and we did that early on. We did that in the third quarter, but we did have a letdown in the second period of play, and so that was kind of the message at halftime. And I was really proud of our guys for the way we answered and came out in the second half, and were able to put points on the board and played pretty solid with the exception of a player or two on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, Coach, I can tell you that, in the booth, Josh and I kind of that same mentality. It's just next game up. But there is one game on the schedule that means a little bit more to us, or means more to me, and I hope it means more to you guys when we get to it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you who it is since we're live on TV. I don't want to put any bulletin board
I
material
hope it's
there,
the Liberty
but
Patriots.
there's one team that I really circle on the calendar every year.
Okay. All right. Well,
I don't know.
We'll
We've
get
been
after
friends
it.
for a long time. I don't know what that one is, but
we'll get after it.
yeah, we'll talk.
I'll let you know.
We'll talk more later.
Yeah,
I'll
talk later, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
know.
let you know.
Coach, we've got one non-district game left. What's one of the musts that we need to improve on before we start district?
Yeah, I think our Achilles heel all year has been our consistency. When we're hitting on all cylinders, offense, defense, special teams, I think we're pretty formidable. I think we're a pretty good football team. And then when we do have some letdowns or we face a little adversity, sometimes things don't go our way, and one mistake leads to two, and two leads to three. And so I think the message that, how we'd like to finish the non-district schedule and enter, the bye week and into the Monahans game is just being consistent and, executing our play, do your job every single play, and if all 11 do that, I think that we're going to be a pretty good, a force to be reckoned with through our district schedule, and, we're excited about it, but we have to take one play at a time, one game at a time, and just do your job.
Okay. Well, Coach, let's talk about the two players that we just had on. A couple of kind of unheralded positions that don't get a lot of spotlight, so it was great having them on. But first start off with share your thoughts on Eric Bustamante's impact this season.
Eric did a great job for us last year on the JV, and we had high expectations for him, moving him up. But anytime you play varsity football for the first time, there's always going to be that question mark. And Eric has gone above and beyond the call of duty. I know he was talking about his height, but he's stronger than an ox. He does an incredible job for us up front. One of those plays Romero scored, and he was the puller and the lead blocker, and just Mr. Consistent. He does a fantastic job for us, and I wish there were two of him. He does a great job offensively. Sometimes we have to steal him and put him in on defense. He is becoming more and more of a vocal leader, and just he does a fantastic job for us on both sides of the ball.
All right.
What did you think about Watzel handling his role in the second half of a game Friday night?
He is.
I mean, it takes some restraint to not call the audible, right? Just throw the ball. I don't know how he got away from that.
I'll answer that question for him. He did not think about audibling at all at that point. Not at all. I'll take that one. But he is.
Next week.
He is the. He's the epitome of a Swiss Army knife. He can do absolutely anything. Quarterback, running back, tight end. If we needed him to play on the offensive line, he could do it. Defensively, does a fantastic job at our will linebacker spot. He plays on all the special teams. In the second half, he was warming up because he knew he was going to go in to play quarterback, but we needed him to play linebacker. And I said, man, you can warm up on defense. Get out there. And, had several tackles. Flips the field, scores a touchdown, jogs back to get in the kickoff huddle. I mean, it's just like every single unit he's on. And so to say that about someone that's a sophomore and knowing he's coming back, at least 5 games this year, then the junior year and the senior year, I mean, the sky's the limit for him. He's a great leader, high character guy, plays hard, kind of one of those, like a 1960s football player where you didn't come off the field. I mean, he's that kind of football player, and so really, really excited to have him on our roster. He does an incredible job for us.
You remember the 1960s?
You were.
I do not.
I think you.
63 grad or 64?
I remember the 70s. You know, I can remember writing 1976 on one of my papers in school, like in kindergarten. But we need to go forward with this conversation. Hey, Coach, this is a little off topic, but you know, you mentioned the versatility that you had with Reese. Talked about a little bit of the versatility with Brinkley here, and we talked with Coach Long about she's got 5 or 6 girls. Half her team can play front row, back row. You know, there's so much. And I started thinking about that when you were talking. I was like, man, you've got Dylan Payton. You have all these other kids that play offense, Ethan Romero. And I started thinking about, basketball, all these kids that can play post, guard, point, all that kind of stuff. Is that something you normally see at a high school, or is that something that kind of, I started thinking about, it might be a little bit kind of unique here that we have here in Greenwood, kids that can do so many different things on so many different sports and teams.
Well, I don't know if I can answer that question for other schools, but the one thing that I've noticed about Greenwood kids is they're willing to do anything. You know, if the coach says, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, they'll do X, Y, and Z as hard as they can. And I don't think that's specific to the football team. You see guys playing multiple positions in baseball and basketball, Coach Long's volleyball squad. Coach Burchett's asked guys to do different things in track. I mean, it's just they're willing to work, and they're going to give their best effort in anything they're asked to do. And so fortunately for us and our staff, we do have a lot of guys that can do multiple things, and I think it makes you harder to defend offensively, and defensively allows you to play with multiple personnel packages. I think we had 4 defensive personnel packages going into the game against Pecos, and so it's always fun trying to find unique ways to get your best 11 on the field, and so we're fortunate for sure.
And I appreciate you spinning that back to football. So give us a summary of Liberty, who got their first win Friday night against a district opponent, one of our district opponents.
Fort Stockton.
Yeah, their first game in their home stadium. We're going to be their second. So give us a summary of Liberty, what you've seen, and what our fans can expect on Friday night.
I think you can't let their record fool you. You know, if you Google it, you're going to see 1-4, but that's not a 1-4 football team. They're incredibly young. They've if you watch game 1 to what they did against Fort Stockton on Friday night, it's a totally different team. They're growing into their identity. They've got a really, really special quarterback. He's well coached. He knows where to go with the football. Defensively, they had 3 interceptions and forced 2 fumbles, I think, against Fort Stockton. So they're finding ways to win the turnover battle. Their offensive line is young, but they're big and they work well together. And so it's not a 1-4 team, a typical 1-4 team that we're playing. I think they're improving each and every week and really getting the used to the speed of a varsity football game. You can see them playing with a lot more confidence, and so it's going to take our best effort Friday night. It's always a challenge when you go on the road, dealing with a bus ride first. But I think we had a good day of practice, but it's definitely not a game, and we shared this with the team that you're just going to show up and win. We have to play well, play at a high level, execute for 4 quarters, and hopefully we end the night well.
Okay.
Coach, talking about your 3-game win streak, how do you keep confidence high without getting too overconfident?
Yeah, I think if you just stick to the plan. Monday we're going to work on our normal down offense and normal down defense. Tuesday we're going to work on our 3rd down and our red zone. And, Wednesday we kind of review all of it and mix in some special plays that we're working for the week. And, if you just stick to the plan, it doesn't matter the record. It doesn't matter the opponent. You just keep things consistent and stress the fundamentals. I think that's that's what we're do. That's how we attack it. And then the second thing is you have to have a mature football team to deal with success and to overcome adversity. Both of those things. And we're still a junior-heavy team, but we've got great senior leadership, and our juniors are growing up. And so I feel like we're handling it well. Thus far, but also knowing where you're coming from. A year ago, we were 0-5 at this point in the season, and so I think it's good to play with a little confidence and know that we can win some close games, and we're excited about the future.
Oh yeah, definitely. So a couple of things on that. We saw that touchdown play from Peyton where he takes the jet sweep to the far side. Is dribbling the ball off the turf and catching it part of the play? Was it designed to do that?
I thought we got multiple. Don't you get double points for that?
You should.
Maybe. I just want to know if that's how you drew it up.
We had a quarterback draw against Andrews where we fumbled the
You
snap.
did the exact same
yeah.
thing,
We
yeah.
practiced that too.
He didn't
yeah.
score, but yeah, that was. I think that was a 20-yard
Well,
scramble there.
we'll petition the UIL for extra points if we fumble it a couple
Which
times
is something to
first.
think about.
Yeah, we'll see what we can get done.
We were sitting in the booth, and I said, well, there's no way they're kicking it to Peyton. And they kicked it to Peyton, and next thing you know, he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get to count it. We had an infraction. We had a yellow flag on the play, but, man, that was a heck of a return.
It was. He's a speedster. Golly, if you can get him the ball in space, there's no telling what's going to happen. He does a great job, and we got a plan to work on some of those special teams penalties this week. So.
Well, and special teams has really been pretty good for you guys this year.
It has. Larry Galindo is the special teams coordinator. He's done a fantastic job. Dialing up some different formations, some different schemes, especially in kickoff return. He does a great job for us.
Yeah, I saw a good screen pass last week.
Oh, that was a beautiful play call. I mean, you couldn't have called it any better, right?
So I think we've kind of borne the Watzel to Bustamante screen possibility, right? I mean,
we'll look
short
at it.
yardage, like
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
give the guy a chance.
A guard eligible play, maybe?
We may have to sneak Bustamante out. He can catch a little bit. He's
Yeah,
pretty-
not all
There
offensive
he is.
linemen can't catch.
Look at it. No, he's grinning.
Yeah.
He's grinning
Yeah,
back
he's
there.
excited.
Josh
I
has,
didn't
Look at
say
that
we were going to
excitement.
do it. I said we think
Josh
about
has
it.
a
We'll
bee in
think
his
about
bonnet about Watzel getting a pass. So, Coach Hill, thanks for coming in, spending some time with us, and everything you do for the program and for the boys and girls out there. We really appreciate it.
it. Well, likewise. Thank you guys for making Friday night special.
Well, one of the things that did happen Friday night was I noticed a little chat thing at the bottom, kind of engaged in that a little bit, had some good banter back and forth with some people. And one of the recommendations was that we should take questions for a segment of Ranger Rundown. And while we can't do a live call-in deal, we're going to have people after the game on Friday when it's over. If you guys have a question you want us to include on Ranger Rundown, you can send those to gsn@greenwood.esc18.net.
These are going to be screened, right?
And we will screen those and select a couple
I need to pick
to
the
be-
screener, too.
to be included in the rundown so that you guys can get a little bit more involved in what we're doing up here.
Jimmy Payton,
it's-
Jamie Tedder, no one in that section will be
Yeah.
screening any of the questions at all.
It's difficult calling a game that you're losing, but it's also relatively difficult calling a game that you're wildly winning, right? So yeah, we found this chat feature, and we just started having conversations with people that are typing in on the computer. So it was quite a bit of fun.
That sounds dangerous. That does not sound fun.
Yeah.
It sounds dangerous.
Well, I learned some things that we have some crazy fans out there that made some absurd statements about Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal. We're not going to go down that route, but let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Guys, we appreciate you tuning in to Ranger Rundown Live from Rooster's Backyard. Make sure you guys pick up all of your Greenwood streaming networks on YouTube. Make sure you put that as a favorite and catch everything we got coming on your way.
Volleyball tomorrow night.
Volleyball tomorrow night, yeah, in Seminole. We'll
Travel
be
to
bringing that live
Lubbock 7 o'clock Friday night for last non-district game against Liberty. So, no, it'd be good. Lots of stuff coming up on Greenwood's streaming network. And thank you from Rooster's Backyard, and we'll catch you next time.